I always believed my life was too ordinary for anything dramatic to happen. I wasn't rich, I wasn't powerful, and I definitely wasn't the type of man people followed. At least, that's what I thought. Everything changed on a Tuesday morning in late October. The kind of morning where the sky is gray but calm, and life feels predictable. I grabbed my keys, stepped outside, and headed to my car, an old silver sedan that had seen better days. I was already late for work, and the last thing I needed was anything slowing me down. As I bent down to pick up a dropped receipt near the front tire, something metallic caught my eye. A small black box, tucked just behind the wheel well, attached with a magnet. At first, I didn't understand what I was looking at. It looked too strange, too deliberate. I touched it carefully, half expecting it to shock me. It didn't. It was cold, smooth, and very, very real. A tracker, under my car. My heart hit my ribs, so hard I felt dizzy for a moment. I looked around the street, empty, quiet, normal. Nothing and no one seemed out of place. But suddenly everything felt different, like the world I knew was no longer safe, no longer predictable. 1,000 questions hit me at once. Who put this here? Why me? How long has it been under my car? I pulled the tracker off and slipped it into my pocket. My fingers were shaking. I tried to calm myself, but there was a cold feeling crawling up my spine, the feeling of being watched. On the drive to work, my thoughts spiraled. Every car behind me felt suspicious. Every turn someone made felt intentional. I kept checking the mirror, convinced I'd see a dark SUV tailing me. But nothing happened. Nothing obvious, at least. When I arrived at the auto shop where I worked, I immediately grabbed my co-worker Leo, the most paranoid man I knew. If anyone would understand the situation, it was definitely him. He took one look at the device and whispered, "Dude, someone's tracking you." No kidding. I snapped, half nervous, half angry. But who? And why? Leo shook his head. "These aren't cheap. Whoever put this under your car wants to know everywhere you go." His words didn't help. Or maybe they helped too much, because the fear felt real now. Heavy, tangible. I walked to the bathroom, locked the door, and stared at the tracker in my hand. It had a blinking light on one side, faint but steady, quiet, persistent, like whoever was behind it. My thoughts drifted to my ex-wife, to my landlord, to random arguments I'd had in the past year. None of them made sense. None of them felt dangerous enough. So why me? Why now? I didn't tell my family. Didn't call the police. I wasn't ready for anyone to look at me like I was paranoid or imagining things. Instead, I made a decision that would change everything. A decision built on fear, curiosity, and a growing sense of rebellion. If someone wanted to track me, fine. But I wasn't going to make it easy for them. I was going to confuse the hell out of them. And that decision was the beginning of everything that came after. The border, the phone call, the truth I never expected. I spent the whole morning staring at the tracker, waiting for some kind of sign. A phone call, a strange car outside, anything. But nothing happened. It was like the world had gone silent just to taunt me. Eventually, fear mixed with adrenaline, and adrenaline mixed with something worse. Imagination. What if they think I'm going somewhere important? What if they're watching to see who I meet? What if I could throw them off? That's when the idea hit me. A stupid idea. An impulsive idea. But at that moment, it felt brilliant. I knew someone who made weekly trips across the border, my cousin Armin. He bought cheap engine parts from across the country and sold them to mechanics back home. He didn't ask questions. He didn't care about drama. And most importantly, he didn't mind helping if it benefited him somehow. I called him during lunch break. "Armin, hey, random question." I said, trying to sound casual. "You going across the border today?" "Yeah," he answered. "In about 2 hours." "Why?" My throat tightened. Should I tell him? No, that would only complicate things. "Can I put a package in your trunk? I need something delivered anonymously." He paused. Seconds felt like minutes. "How anonymous?" "Just don't ask," I said. He laughed. "Fine, but you owe me." I hung up, exhaling sharply. This was insane. What was I thinking? If this tracker belonged to someone dangerous, what would they do when they saw their signal suddenly jump across the border? And yet, a part of me wanted exactly that. To see their reaction. To mess with them the way they were messing with me. During my break, I wrapped the tracker in an old cloth and placed it inside a small cardboard box. I sealed it with tape, like it was some normal delivery package. At 3 p.m., I drove to Armin's warehouse and handed him the box. He shook it lightly. Feels empty. It's delicate, I lied. You're weird, he muttered, tossing it into the trunk. I'll be back tonight. As I watched his car disappear down the street, I felt a thrill of victory, short, sharp, and stupid. The tracker was no longer tracking me. It was headed for another country entirely. I imagined someone staring at a blinking monitor, watching their perfect little plan fall apart. I imagined them cursing, panicking, trying to figure out how I'd slipped out of their control. For a few hours, I felt powerful, like I'd won something. But the truth is, I had no idea what game I was even playing. That night, Armin returned and handed me the empty box. Done. Whoever wanted that package, they'll get it, he joked. I laughed nervously and drove home. I expected everything to go back to normal now. No more trackers. No more paranoia. No more mysterious blinking devices. But normal was gone, because the next morning, I woke up to something I never expected. My phone was ringing. A number I didn't recognize. A country code from across the border. When I answered, a shaking voice said the words that froze my blood. Is this the man who owns a tracker? I think we need to talk. For a moment, I couldn't speak. My tongue felt glued to the roof of my mouth. The only word I managed was a quiet, terrified, "What?" The stranger on the phone cleared his throat. His voice was tense, fearful, and strangely polite. "My name is Victor," he said, "and I believe you have something that belongs to me. Or perhaps I should say you had something." My stomach turned. He wasn't guessing. He knew. I gripped the phone harder. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do," he replied softly. "You found the tracker. Under your car. And then you sent it across the border. I know where it is." My knees nearly buckled. He wasn't asking questions. He was telling me facts. Facts only the owner of the device would know. "Are you following me?" I whispered. "No," he said quickly. But someone else was. The line went quiet. Only his tense breathing filled the silence. Then he continued. "That tracker wasn't meant for you. It was meant for your neighbor, the man who drives a car nearly identical to yours. Same model, same color. The wrong vehicle was tagged by mistake." My chest tightened. A mistake. A random, stupid mix-up. But the next question tore out of me. "So who are you tracking?" Another pause. Then his voice dropped lower. "A very dangerous man. Someone who hurt my family. Someone who doesn't know we're watching him. Someone who will do anything to stay hidden." My blood ran cold. "And now," he continued, "that man is searching for the missing tracker because he believes someone stole something from him. He doesn't know it was a mistake." I felt physically sick. I asked, "Does he know my address?" Victor hesitated, and that hesitation was worse than any direct answer. "He knows the tracker was on your car," he said carefully, "and he knows the signal suddenly jumped across the border. He will assume you discovered it, and he will assume you did it on purpose." My hand began to tremble so badly I had to sit down. "What does he want with me? I don't even know him." "That doesn't matter," Victor replied. "He believes someone is interfering with him. He believes someone is watching him. And he is not a man who leaves questions unanswered." A wave of cold panic washed over me. For the first time, I understood the gravity of my mistake. I didn't confuse someone. I provoked someone. Victor's voice softened. "Listen to me. You need to be careful. The man you crossed, unknowingly or not, is clever. He watches. He waits. And when something disrupts his plans, he reacts." I swallowed hard. "What do I do?" "I can help you," he said. "But I need to know exactly what you did with the tracker. Everything." My first instinct was to trust him. He sounded desperate, honest, terrified. Then I stopped myself. How do I know I can trust you? I asked. You don't, he said. But if you don't let me help, the man who owns the tracker will find you long before I can. The call ended with one final message. Meet me tonight, alone. I'll explain everything. It felt like a trap, but doing nothing felt even worse. I drove to the meeting place Victor suggested, an empty parking lot behind an abandoned furniture store. The kind of place where secrets are traded and no one asks questions. As I pulled in, every instinct screamed at me to leave. But then I saw him. A thin man in his 40s, pacing nervously beside a dark blue hatchback. He wasn't threatening. He looked exhausted, haunted. When he saw me, he raised one hand, signaling peace. You came, he said softly. I stepped out of my car, but kept distance. Talk. He nodded and reached into his jacket. I froze. My muscles tightened. Easy, he said quickly, pulling out not a weapon, but a stack of photographs. He handed them to me. My breath caught. They showed a man, tall, well-dressed, eyes cold as winter. In some photos, he was entering buildings. In others, he was exchanging envelopes. In one, he was with a woman crying on a doorstep. Who is he? I whispered. Victor stared at the ground. My brother's murderer. My heart stopped. He continued, voice steady but trembling underneath. 2 years ago, my brother was working on a construction site. He discovered something he wasn't supposed to. Illegal money transfers happening inside the company. This man paid people off to keep quiet. But my brother refused. And he didn't survive the week. I swallowed hard. What does this have to do with me? The man thinks someone is watching him, Victor said. Because someone is me. He pointed to the tracker I'd found. That device was supposed to be under his car, not yours. I needed it to gather evidence before I go to the police. He has eyes everywhere, and he's protected. But why is he interested in me now? Because you accidentally exposed yourself, Victor said. When the tracker moved across the border, he assumed someone was trying to lure him into a trap. He doesn't know it was a random mistake. My chest tightened painfully. So he's coming after me? Victor nodded slowly. Not yet, but he will. A cold wind swept the parking lot. I zipped up my jacket, suddenly feeling completely vulnerable. What do? I asked again. You stay away from him, Victor said. Don't follow him. Don't confront him. And don't draw attention. If he believes you're just some guy who stumbled on the tracker, he might ignore you. Might. I repeated. That's your plan. He looked at me sadly. You weren't supposed to be part of this. But now you are. We talked for another 20 minutes. Him explaining the danger, me trying not to panic. Finally, he offered his last piece of advice. Act normal. Don't run. Don't hide. People like him only chase those who look like they're afraid. As I drove home, I wondered if Victor himself was telling the whole truth. Something didn't feel right. Something about his story was incomplete. But I didn't realize just how incomplete until the next day, because a man from the photograph showed up, not at my house, not at my job. He showed up at my sister's place. He knocked on her door, smiling. My sister called me at noon. Her voice was shaky. Someone came by the house asking about you, she whispered. My stomach dropped. Who? I don't know. He was polite. Too polite. Said he worked with you years ago. But his smile, she exhaled sharply. It wasn't real. I already knew who it was before she described him. Tall, dark coat, cold eyes. She gasped. Yes. How did you? I'll explain later. I said quickly. What did you tell him? Nothing, she insisted. I said I hadn't seen you in weeks. But what? He asked strange things. If you travel often, if you owe anyone money, if you've been acting secretive. And then he looked past me like he was checking if someone was inside the house. My blood turned ice cold. He knows where my family lives. I whispered. This is serious, isn't it? She asked. I didn't answer. I couldn't. After hanging up, I sat in my car for nearly an hour, mind racing. Victor said the man wasn't coming after me yet. Yet, apparently was over. Every moment from the past 2 days replayed in my mind. Finding the tracker, sending it away, answering the phone, meeting Victor. Every choice I made pulled me deeper into something I never asked for. I needed answers. And the only person who had them was Victor. I called him again. He picked up instantly. Too instantly. He came to my sister's house. I said without greeting, "You told me to act normal. This isn't normal." Victor cursed quietly. "He's testing you. He wants to see how you react." Well, I reacted. I snapped. "Now what?" "Calm down," he said. "Tell me exactly what happened." I explained everything. The smile, the questions, the way he tried to look inside the house. Victor listened silently. Then he said something that made my anger freeze. "He wants to see if you're connected to me." Why would he think that? Because he saw the tracker move across the border, to a place where I operate. I felt sick. So now he thinks I'm working with you? Possibly. I slammed my fist against the steering wheel. This is insane. I don't know him. I don't know you. And I don't want anything to do with this. "I understand," Victor said gently, "but you're already in it." I stayed silent, breathing hard. Finally, he spoke again. "You're not safe anymore. Not on your own." "So what do you suggest?" "Let me handle it," he said. "But you need to trust me." "I don't trust anyone involved in this," I said. "I wouldn't either," he admitted. "But right now, I'm the only one not trying to hurt you." He might have been right. Or he might have been manipulating me. Either way, I was out of options. "Fine," I said. "What do we do?" "We meet again. Tonight. Same place. But this time come prepared." Prepared for what? For him to make a move. A cold shiver ran down my spine. Because for the first time, I realized Victor wasn't planning to run from this man. He was planning to confront him. And I was about to get dragged into that confrontation, whether I wanted to or not. That night, the parking lot felt even darker than before. The air was heavy, silent, waiting. Victor stood beside his car, hands in his pockets, eyes scanning every shadow. When I approached, he gave a small nod. "Thank you for coming back," he said. "I didn't have a choice." "No," he agreed softly. "You didn't." He opened his trunk and pulled out a tablet. "This is how the tracker works," he explained. "Even though it's across the border now, I can still monitor its exact location." The screen showed a map with a blinking Armin's delivery route. "Why are you showing me this?" I asked. "Because he's watching the same map," Victor said. "He has access to the company that manufactured the tracker. He knows you moved it, and he wants to know why." "Great," I muttered. "So I basically declared war on a criminal without realizing it." "Not war," Victor corrected, "but you create a question he cannot ignore." He walked a few steps away, pacing. "He's smart. When he visited your sister, he wasn't threatening her. He was assessing you, your life, your habits, your vulnerabilities." My jaw clenched. "You promised he wasn't coming after me yet." "I was wrong," Victor said quietly. "He works faster than I expected." My voice shook with frustration. "Then why am I here?" "Because tonight," Victor said, "we're ending this." I froze. "Ending what?" He looked at me, really looked at me, with eyes filled with exhaustion and determination. "I'm going to expose him. Fully. Completely. But I need him to make a mistake. And you already distracted him by moving the tracker." It hit me suddenly. "You're using me as bait." Victor didn't deny it. "You're the only variable he didn't plan for," he said. "He's watching you. And if he thinks you know something, he'll show up." I stepped back. "Absolutely not. I didn't sign up for this. I'm not risking my life for your revenge." "This isn't revenge," he said firmly. "It's justice. Call it whatever you want." I replied, "I'm not doing this." He sighed deeply. "You're already in the middle of it. If you walk away, he'll still follow you. He'll still test your family. He'll still wonder what you know." My pulse pounded in my ears. "He has two choices," Victor said. "Ignore you or confront you. And men like him never ignore." I felt trapped, because he was right. Victor lifted a small device from his pocket. I planted a secondary tracker in your car, he admitted, hidden inside the bumper. If he comes near your vehicle again, we'll know. My breath caught. You did what? It's the only way to protect you, he said. That doesn't sound like protection. It sounds like manipulation. It's both, he said softly. Before I could argue, Victor's phone buzzed. He looked at the screen and his face drained of color. He's close, he whispered. He's coming here. What? Victor grabbed my arm. Get in your car. Lock the doors. Do not get out until I tell you. Are you crazy? We need to leave. It's too late, he said. He's already watching us. I jumped into my car and locked the doors. My hands were shaking so badly I struggled to put the key in the ignition. But Victor stood in the open, calm, almost ready. A black luxury car pulled into the parking lot. The same man from photographs stepped out. His coat was flawless. His smile was empty. He approached Victor slowly, confidently. They talked quietly, intensely. I couldn't hear the words, but I saw Victor's hands trembling and the man's cold expression never changing. Then something happened. Victor threw photographs on the ground and shouted loud enough for me to hear through the glass. You ruined my family. The man tilted his head, amused. I don't know what you think you're doing, the stranger said, but your obsession ends tonight. That's when Victor snapped. You think I'm afraid of you? He shouted. You think you can just threaten people and walk away? I have everything I need to expose you. The man smirked. You have nothing. You have suspicions, accusations, and a broken life you're trying to justify. Victor shook his head violently. My brother didn't deserve what you did to him. The man finally lost a smile. Your brother made a mistake, he said coldly. He told the wrong people the wrong truth. And me? Victor yelled. What mistake did I make? The stranger glanced toward my car. That one small movement made my entire body freeze. You involved an innocent man, the stranger said. That was your mistake. Victor's eyes widened. He's not part of this. But you made him part of it, the man replied. You dragged him into something he doesn't understand. Then the man's voice changed, quieter, darker, which means there are now two loose ends. I felt the world tilt. Two loose ends. Me and Victor. Before anything else could happen, Victor shouted, Run! He grabbed something from his pocket, a small flashbang-style emergency light, and slammed it into the ground. A blinding white flash filled the parking lot. I shielded my eyes, cursing, heart racing. When my vision cleared, Victor was gone. The stranger was coughing, stumbling backward, blinded temporarily. This was my chance. I turned the key. The car roared to life. As I sped out of the parking lot, tires screeching, one final image burned itself into my mind. The stranger standing, wiping his eyes, turning his head toward me, smiling, not angry, not desperate, smiling like a man who understood something I didn't, a man who wasn't finished. I drove for nearly an hour without stopping. My whole body trembled. My thoughts were chaos. I didn't know where Victor went. I didn't know if the stranger was following me. I didn't know if my family was safe. I pulled into a quiet gas station and sat there breathing heavily, trying not to fall apart. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. Different country code. Again. My stomach twisted as I answered. A voice I didn't expect spoke calmly. This is the police from across the border. We recovered a tracking device that was shipped into our territory. We traced a serial number to the man who just filed a report saying his tracker was stolen. I blinked, stunned. Victor? He filed a report. Yes. And he provided his name, address, and full written statement. My heart pounded. Is he there? Is he safe? Yes, the officer replied. But he also filed a second report. About you. Me? The officer continued. He said you are an innocent civilian who became involved due to mistaken identity. He requested immediate protection for you and your family. I was speechless. Where is he now? I whispered. He turned himself in, the officer said. Said he had information about a criminal case, but he didn't want another civilian. Meaning you caught in the middle. I exhaled shakily. And the man he was tracking? There was a pause. We cannot confirm details, the officer said slowly. But we can say this. Certain individuals are now under investigation because Victor provided evidence. Evidence? What evidence? The tracker, the officer said, it recorded more than movement. It recorded audio. My breath caught. That small device. I had no idea it could capture voices. And the officer added, your decision to send it across the border prevented it from being destroyed. It preserved the recordings. I leaned back in my seat, stunned. So, I helped. Yes, the officer said gently. You helped more than you realize. A long silence passed. What happens now? I asked. We will advise your local authorities to provide you security for the next few days, he said, just as a precaution. But as of right now, you are safe. Safe. A word I hadn't believed in for days. When the call ended, I sat there staring at the wheel, trying to absorb everything. Victor wasn't manipulating me. He wasn't using me for revenge. He was using me to save someone, to stop someone. And my stupid, impulsive act, sending Tracker away, ended up doing the one thing he needed. It preserved the truth. In the weeks that followed, life slowly returned to normal. Though normal felt different now. Heavier, sharper, more real. Every time I walked to my car, I checked underneath. Maybe out of caution. Maybe out of habit. Maybe because part of me still didn't fully believe everything was over. But the police kept their word. The stranger didn't return. My sister was safe. My family was safe. And Victor, he faced the authorities voluntarily. He chose truth over fear. He chose justice over running. I replayed everything in my head more times than I can count. One small discovery changed my life. One impulsive decision triggered a chain of events I couldn't control. One innocent mistake revealed the darkness hiding in plain sight. But here's what I learned. Sometimes fear pushes us into danger, but sometimes it pushes us toward the truth. Sometimes we trust the wrong people. And sometimes the people we fear the most are the ones who needed help. Sometimes life hands us a choice, not between good and bad, but between acting or freezing. I acted out of fear. I acted foolishly. But that action saved evidence someone tried to bury. And it gave a grieving brother the chance to speak for someone who no longer could. If I learn anything from all this, it's simple. You never know who is watching. You never know what secrets sit beneath the surface. And you never know how a single moment, a glance under a car, a blinking light, a simple decision can change everything. I didn't want to be part of this story. I didn't choose it. But in the end, the truth chose me.